Okay, so in today's video, what we're gonna talk about is how to dress for an interview for women. Okay, again, how to dress for an interview for women. That's right, ladies, we're gonna focus on you in this particular video. See, here's the thing, I was thinking about this the other day. Women have so many different options of things that they could potentially wear when they go to an actual interview. Okay, and so the thing that I'm going to really focus on in this video is giving you some food for thought for you to think about as you prepare for what you plan on wearing when you go to your upcoming interview. Okay, because here's the thing. Okay, there's a particular way that you can dress that will garner the highest level of credibility. I mean, before you even open your mouth. Okay, and so I want to share that with you just so you can at least have the information. Okay, and just so you can at least, I can give you some food for thought that you could kind of chew on and think about prior to you going into your interview as you're preparing your wardrobe for that interview. Okay, just some things to think about. All right, now just in case you don't know who I am, my name is Rodney Hughes, Mr. 100%, and on this channel, Career Strategies, what we focus on is ideas and strategies and techniques and everything that is designed to help you advance your career. Okay, we focus on things in the interview process, we focus on leadership, we focus on everything that just pretty much revolves around your career. And so if you like to get great information on a regular basis about that, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join the family. Okay, so again, what we're talking about here is how to dress for an interview for women. Okay, so let's start here. Okay, before I even really get into my suggestion, which is a simple suggestion, by the way. Okay, let's start here first. Okay, let's start with the problem. I like to always start with the problem. So, because if you don't know what the problem is, then you know the solution might not necessarily make sense. So let's start with the problem. Okay. The problem is that, listen, people are free to wear whatever they want to wear. Ladies, you are free to wear whatever you want to wear. Okay, I'm not necessarily telling you have to, take heed of what I'm about to say in this video, but I definitely want you to at least think and see if what I'm saying makes sense to you. Okay, but here's the deal. From the moment a candidate walks through the door, okay, and a hiring decision maker lays their eyes on you, before you even open your mouth to say hello, nice to meet you, all that stuff, the decision-making process has already begun. Okay, so let's think about this. Let's go back actually before you actually go on site for the interview. So for a lot of companies nowadays, the popular thing to do is like somebody will submit their resume, right, which is pretty much what you have to say about your background. And if that was impressive enough, then typically the next step nowadays, even if you're local to where the job opportunity is for that hiring decision maker, whether it be HR or whether it's a hiring manager or hiring director, they will typically get on the telephone with you to conduct the telephone interview. And if that goes well, then they'll invite you in for an on-site interview. Okay, so that's typically what happens nowadays. All right, so what I need you to understand is that from the moment that hiring decision maker has seen you on your resume, they have developed a picture of who you are as a candidate. Okay, and they were obviously impressed enough to want to move forward in the interview process with considering you as a candidate. Okay. Then if you got on the telephone, you obviously were able to converse well enough to where they're like, yep, this person sounds like they match the impressive person that I see on the resume, right? So again, they start crystallizing that vision of who you are as a candidate, right? And not only that, they start looking at you like, wow, this could potentially be the person to solve my problems right now. But man, this person looks like a winner, right? Most people, when they hire, yes, they hire for right now, but they're also taking into consideration, like, is this a person that could grow within our company, right? So this is what's happening, right? So then when you come to the actual interview, before you even open your mouth, from the moment that they come into the room and they see you, okay, another decision is about to be made. And that decision is absolutely crucial, okay? When they look at you, if you're dressed in a way that garners credibility, then you have created a substantial amount of momentum for yourself going into the process, whether you realize it or not. Because on a conscious or a subconscious level, that hiring decision maker is already starting to kind of analyze you more right on the spot, right? And if they come through that door and they feel like you're dressed in any sort of an inappropriate manner, okay, then not to say you still can't get that job, but you have now started to work against yourself and you don't even realize it, okay? Just because you weren't dressed a certain kind of way, okay? Is it fair? No, it's not fair, okay? But guess what? It's not fair for the company either. Because the company, if you think about it, even if you're applying for a minimum wage position, okay, in just about any state in America, right? Even if you're applying for a minimum wage position, they're being asked to make thousands of dollars. They're being asked to make a decision that's worth thousands of dollars based on extremely limited information, right? So all they really have to go off of, if you think about it, is three things, right? Number one, what do you say about you on your resume, right? So they have to make a decision off that. The other thing is, what do you do, right? What do you do when you're actually in the interview, in the actual on-site interview, right? And then the third thing is, what do other people have to say about you? What do your references have to say about you? What does a background check have to say about you, right? But though, if you think about it, that's the only three things that they have to go off of when it comes to making a decision that's going to cost them thousands of dollars, regardless of what the level of the position is, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, it's not fair from their perspective, right? So it shouldn't necessarily be fair from your perspective, if you really think about it, right? And so what I want you to understand, it's not fair that they're going to make those judgments, but what's important is that you understand that those are the judgments that are going to be made, whether you like it or not. Okay? And so once you can accept the fact that people are going to make judgments based on how you're dressed and how you carry yourself, right? When you're going through the interview process, it is your responsibility to put yourself in the best position to get the type of effect that you're looking for, right? And so the recommendation, the reason you see this picture here is because the recommendation that I always tell men and women, okay, but especially for women, okay, is you want to dress like a government official, okay? So when you see these senators here, right, do you notice they all seem to have something in common with how they're dressed? Yeah, they're wearing different colors and stuff and so forth. But do you notice how all of them are pretty much dressed? Every single one of these young ladies has a blouse on, and every single one of these ladies is wearing a conservative color. Okay? Every single one of them, right? And if you want to be safe going into an interview, right, I would say pattern yourself after a government official. Let me explain why, right? Government officials oftentimes, well, sometimes now, because there's so many people out there that just pretty much, it's kind of like one of these kind of known things, but you got to understand that typically at that level, they have access to consultants who pretty much guide them on what they wear, the things they say, and how they carry themselves to garner the highest level of credibility. Okay? And it all starts with the way that they look, right? If you notice, each one of these ladies look very similar, right? It's almost like a cookie cutter type of look, right? And what you want to do is you want to pattern yourself after how they're dressed. You know why? Because what those consultants teach these government officials is that, hey, the way you dress makes a huge impact on the amount of credibility that you can garner when you're actually running for that office, right? What you got to understand is when you're going through the job interview process, you're pretty much campaigning, right? Just like how these ladies right here have campaigned to become a senator, right? When you're going through the job interview process, you're campaigning to get the job. You understand? So why not pattern your dress after after a proven model? You understand? There's no sense in winging it. Okay? There's no sense in wearing something that might come across as a little bit provocative. No need to, right? Go look up pictures. You can go on YouTube, you can go on Google, and I assure you, you can find pictures of female senators or female government officials, and just pay attention to how they dress. And for that one day, okay, for that one day, when you walk through that door, pattern yourself after them, okay? And watch what happens. Watch what happens. Does that mean that it's going to guarantee you're going to get the job? No. Okay. You still got to do your thing. You still have to interview well. Okay. But for sure, what will happen is that you won't have points against you. Let's put it that way. Right. I've seen people get dinged for not dressing very professional. Right? Or I've seen women also get dinged for maybe wearing a blouse that was a little too low, showed off just a little bit too much cleavage, right? And here's the thing. Here's the ugly truth about it. No company in America, for the most part, is ever going to give you feedback that they thought you were dressed too provocatively, or they thought you were dressed unprofessionally. They will never tell you this. You know why? Because they don't want to get sued for discrimination. But that doesn't mean that they're not basing their decision off of it. That just means they're not going to share that information with you. Okay? You know why? Because they don't have to share that information with you. You know why else? Because they're not in the training business. They're looking for a finished product. Okay? It's your responsibility to train yourself up on how to maneuver through this interview process, not the company's responsibility. Okay? And they don't want to get sued. Okay? So that's why I'm trying to be your friend here, and I'm trying to give you some information that a lot of people I'm trying to give you information that a lot of people that you may not be able to get on a regular basis as you're going through the interview process. Okay? And so again, my recommendation would be to pattern your dress approach after the way that government officials dress. Because if you do that, you'll be safe. Okay? You'll be much safer than, not doing that. Okay? If you see how they dress at important events, that's the other big thing, right? Because I don't want you to pattern yourself after a senator when they may be in a more relaxed environment. But I'm saying if it looks like that senator is at a meeting like each one of these young ladies look like they're doing right now, like a lot of these young ladies look like they're either speaking on stage or they're at some type of important event or whatever. You see how they're dressed, and they're all dressed very similar. Okay? And so I want you to pattern yourself after that, because this is an important event. You've done a great job of representing yourself all the way up to this point. And now when you walk through the door, you just want to have that extra edge. You want to have that momentum going. You want to have that executive presence. Okay? Even if you're not interested in getting into management, when you walk through the door, you want to have that executive type presence to you, okay? Based on how you're dressed, right? It shows respect for the process, and it makes people feel more confident about you as an individual. Because again, they're having to make a very important decision based on limited information, okay? Listen, I hope you got great value out of this. Listen, I want to give you something free, okay? So this video was brought to you by Interview Prep University. This is a free online training platform that I created to teach people how to exponentially improve their job interview skills from point A all the way to point Z. Okay, and so it doesn't matter whether you're fresh to the workforce or whether you're a seasoned veteran. The reality is that most people aren't professional interviewers. So regardless of how long you've been out in the workforce, 9 times out of 10 you don't have to interview every single day, right? So what I want to do with this platform is I want to give it to you absolutely free. There are no strings attached. I'm not asking you to buy anything, okay? If you want to get free access to it, all you have to do is go to www.interviewprepuniversity.com. Again, that's www.interviewprepuniversity.com. You can get free access to it, and I promise you there is like a ton of value on this platform, okay? And do me a favor, if you like this video, like the video, okay? Comment on the video, tell me what your thoughts were about what I discussed in this video, and then make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell so that anytime I drop some new content, you can be made aware of it, all right? Listen, I hope you enjoyed everything. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.